Shalom, shalom, people. Happy Shabbat. I'm not going to keep y'all long. I'm just here um, just to give a word of encouragement to those who are being obedient, those who are walking their narrow path, um, those who are in their wilderness season, those who are in isolation, those who are trying their best to make a way, those who are waiting on the Most High to deliver His promises to you. Um, And this is a message for those who are lost, struggling, homeless, in poverty, season of lack, not just because you did anything wrong, you're doing things right, but you've been put in a season because the Most High has you in separation. And before He can give you anything, He has to strip you of everything. And you're crying out in the wilderness and you're wondering why, how long, you know, the promises that you got from me, but you still in that position. Um, Continue to have an upright heart. Continue to be obedient to Him. Continue to trust on Him, even though the struggle is real. Even though you're crying out, asking Him why people don't see me. Uh, you're doing your best, and the promise that you have for me is not being delivered. When you're doing everything on your end, um, just continue to pray for those people. Just continue to petition to the Most High, continue to intercede, continue to cover, because that day will happen, but it's never our timing. Even though He gives us free will, some people operate, because they just not ready to move forward. Um, but you continue to cover them and petition for them, man, and that the Most High's will be done in your life, in their life, in the life of others. Um, Everybody know that this wicked holiday is coming up, and a lot of people are ostracized from their family, from their loved ones. Some people, He had to remove you from the people that you grew up with, your family, your friends, past relationships, and stuff like that. And you were by yourself. Know that you're never alone. Know that you have the Most High with you. He loves you and knows what's best for you. But if there's somehow, some way, still show kindness to people. Still show love. Still be grateful to the Most High, regardless of your situation, circumstance, because He's going to deliver. He's going to show up for you. He is going to make a way for you. He's not a man. He should lie. His answers is yes and amen. Um, as chosen ones, we don't understand why certain people live in fear, because He did not give us a rock of fear, a power of love and a sound mind. Everybody has their days. Everybody has their moments. Our strength fails sometimes. Our faith kind of worries. We kind of keep asking, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? This is the path you want me to go. And sometimes we be fearful. I just speak for myself. You know, like I said, I never thought I'd have a calling like this. Um, Sometimes I feel like I'm doing the right thing. Sometimes I feel like I'm messing up, but that's on me. I get convicted. But I put my best foot forward. I put my best foot forward to come here to give y'all, some type of encouragement, no matter what you're going through. Some people have a lot more knowledge than most, but they still go through it. Some of them still operate out of fear. So, we continue to ask the Most High just to give them strength. You know, because we can't rely on our own strength. Our strength comes from Yahuwah. So just just continue to pray for them. And if you're in separation from the people that you love and care for, and they got love for you, just continue to pray, continue to pull out and petition, continue to stand the gap and intercede that the Most High Spirit, that His Ruach, cover them in all the areas of their life that they are battling with. We can't do it. We don't have the strength to do it, but we can stand in agreement with them, and we can stand in agreement. We can intercede. We can stand that gap. We can ask the Most High just to let His will be done, regardless. But to move on that in their heart, in their mind, in their soul, and give them the courage to just do the things that He asks for them to do. We have family members that we got people that loves us, but they don't know how to show you because they're afraid, because the light that you carry, because they think we don't know what their thoughts are not our thoughts. Just like the Most High thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. But at the end of the day, we continue to walk that narrow path. We continue to trust and we continue to seek His face. Today is the Shabbat. Today is a day of rest and worship. We rest, we release, and we let go all those anxieties, those doubts, those worries, those stress, those fears. Because fears can halt progression. Regardless if you're the one that's in fear or the people that you love is in fear. Fear halts progression. It causes delays, it causes setbacks, it causes heartaches. We can't grow, we can't move forward, we can't do the things that He calls for us to be. We can't step into the purpose, the plans that He has for us by being in fear. It will show up, but we have to conquer that fear. We have to tell fear that it has to go. I got things I need to do. And fear, you causing delays, you causing setbacks, you causing me to be stagnant. Fear has no place if it's not of Yahuwah. And we know He did not give us that. So if He did not give us that, we know that's from the enemy. The enemy is beneath us, below us. We have to rebuke that devil. We have to rebuke Satan, tell him, get behind me. I tread upon lions and snakes and scorpions and the dragon. Everything. This is just to encourage people. This is encourage you, encourage your loved ones. Just like I said, intercede for them. Don't give up hope. If He promised you, He promised you. If He showed you, He showed you. But we just gotta be willing. We gotta be willing. We gotta be able. We gotta be willing to move forward. So be thankful and be grateful that you have life. Be grateful and thankful that you're above ground, that you be able to walk and talk and act, think and feel. And be kind to somebody, especially people in your community. Sometimes like chosen ones, we step out. We do the things He calls for us to do. And at the end of the day, just continue to be strong. Remember, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Not one weapon. Not one weapon. As you can tell by my voice, it rained where we was at. I ain't making no excuses or nothing. This ain't no sob story, but Now, I bear a lot of stuff. You know, it's not easy. You know, when he separates you and when he removes people out your life and when he tells you to move a certain way and do certain things and just start waiting and hold on to him, it's not easy. Sometimes people want to tend to give up. Some people want to throw in the towel. Some people want to give up, but I refuse. I refuse to throw in the towel, no matter how painful it is. No matter how painful it is, you know, you standing alone, we know we're not alone. Number one, the Most High is with us. He's there with us in our good days and our bad days. You know, when everybody else around us laughs and mocks and point their finger and they mimic and they copy, they walk away, they see you looking a certain type of way, they tend to just shun you off like you don't have no value and have no worth. But we do have value. We do have worth. You know, greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. You know, we're not the problem. You know, the thing is they have a problem with us because the lies and the manipulations, the warfare that we endure. But he built his king of warriors. It's not by our strength and not by our might, but his righteous right hand, his love for us, that we're still here, we're still above ground. We'll continue to walk this walk, we'll continue to talk this talk, and we will not shrink down from nobody. We don't care who comes up against us. If Aluah be for us, who can be against us? You know. So just continue to just hold your head up, no matter what your circumstance it is. And to those others, be grateful and thankful. Be grateful and thankful that you have a roof over your head. Some people don't have a roof over their head. Some people have vehicles they can sleep in. Then there's other people that don't mind being in shelter. Sometimes when you're chosen, when you have a light on you, you cannot be in certain places because your light irritates and it causes problems. You never know. People in them organizations can be working with people that's not of the Most High. And so why take that chance? Certain places you can be in, certain places you can't. But ain't like we want to disrupt, coming in and be like, yeah, I'm chosen, this and that, whatever. I demand this and I demand that. When I go in here, they're gonna show me my respect and give me my respect. But at the end of the day, we don't force ourselves on people. It's just the light that we carry. Um, and sometime in this wilderness season, you gotta be stripped. You know, I was having a conversation with the creator and I was saying to him early morning, when you can tell, you can look in my eyes. I have not been sleeping. When sometimes they say when you rest in him, just rest in him, he'll give you rest. But let me ask y'all this. If you was put in the wilderness season, he stripped you from everything. And I mean everything and everyone that you love was what was comfortable to you. And you out here and you uncomfortable, especially this time of year. When the temperature drops at night, when you have nothing but just what you have on your back, and you in the weather where it rained for days, all day, wet, you gotta find a dry place. This government is acting crazy. They're cracking down on homelessness. They doing anything they can to put people in a mental institution. Not because something wrong with them. Not everybody carries the same spirit, but those who carry that spirit that walks upright, those who've been put in these situations due to things we have done, but also the family dynamic, the atmosphere, the environment. You know, he has to pull us out. If that was you, I had a conversation with him. I said, I feel like I am naked. I feel like I am naked, completely naked, completely stripped. You know, with your hands freezing at night, with your toes freezing at night. And when you feel that pain, there's a lot of people that lost fingers and toes because of frostbite. You know, their toes and their fingers, they become black and they got to get them amputated. I witnessed people. I seen people used to walk right up, you know, within a month or two later, they in a wheelchair with no toes and no feet. And it's sad, you know. This is what the people go through on a daily basis. You know, my story ain't no different from anybody else that's out here on these streets. You know, I don't have no roof over my head. I don't have no warmth. You know, I couldn't sleep. I woke up in pain. I woke up crying. But I'm telling him, it's like, man, I just feel like you just stripped me from everything. But I'm not going to stop trusting in you. You know, sometimes obedience is better than sacrifice. You know, obedience is better than comfortability. And I says, like, man, if this is what you want of me, for me to lose my fingers, to lose my toes, just to step into the promise, it's like, well, it's like I got to lose my fingers and my toes. And that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And it's how painful and how hard it is. Who wants to lose limbs? He even says it's better to go in Maine. And when you look at stuff like that and people use these words, they say that they can speak it, they can preach it, they can walk it, they can say these things. I mean, they can speak it. They can give people encouraging words and everything else until you put in that position. When you really put in that position where I might just be maimed, I might end up losing toes, I might end up losing fingers just to step into the promise. And you have to make a decision. And the decision is, do you hold on to that promise and receive the promise maimed, or you jump ship? You're like, man, I can't take this no more. It's not easy for chosen ones to walk this path to receive the promise maimed. But if it has to be, so be it. You know, I'm doing the best I can, just know to hold on to his promise. Whatever he has for me, it'll be done. But it's not easy. And I know people want to let go. I know people want to give up. And I know you want to give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't let go of his promise. Don't give up. You know, you keep fighting, you keep your head up. You know, the enemy wants to tear you down. He wants to tire you out. He wants you to give up. We can't help the elements that we're in, you know. But those who are on the end that understand what I'm saying, get up and walk. Get up and walk until your feet gets warm, till that blood circulates. You know, keep moving. Just keep moving. Keep walking by faith. It's going to end. It's going to end. A wise person says they just want this to end. We want this to end. He has to come through for us. But It's not our timing. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. Even though we cannot see it in the natural, we cannot perceive it in our mind, but we have to see it and know that it's working out for our good in the spirit. You know, I'm going to keep going. But what I have is who I am. And what I offer him is me, even if it's until my last breath. You know, that's just me. You know, I've been battle tested. You know, I've been through this on several occasions, years. I've been in years of this, but it gets tiring. It gets old. You know, I woke up sleeping next to fires in the wintertime. Fire goes out, sweating. You woke up, icicles on your clothes. You can't even move, can't even walk, but you're still here. So that's just my advice. Who wants to lay down? Snow's gonna be coming. People gonna be out here in the snow. People gonna try to find something over their head. Shelters are getting crowded. You gotta be in line at a certain time, even though you out here trying to do this, trying to achieve this, trying to do here. If you got this, if you don't have this, you're doing your best that you can, but you gotta be in certain places at a certain time. It's not easy. It's not difficult to navigate this. Um, just keep doing your best and make sure you put the Most High first. Ask Him to order your steps. Be a lamp to my feet and light to my path. Continue walking that narrow path. That narrow path is not for the faint of heart. Continue to do good. Continue to move forward. Continue to trust. Continue to shine, regardless. Those dark days when we win it and when we lose it. Continue to love. Continue to be a positive in somebody's life, because you never know who's watching you. You never know who's on the other side. You never know the fight that you have inside you is inspiration to others. So at the end of the day, continue to be obedient on this Shabbat. This is a day of rest and worship. Renewal, release, and just be thankful and grateful, regardless of warfare. The warfare is real out here. But what don't kill us makes us stronger. I'm just trying to figure out what else to say. And sometimes when you prayed everything that you can pray, you ran out of prayer. You have run out of prayer. He's still in the midst of you. He's still right there with you. He's still understanding. He's still, at the end of the day, he searches your heart. He knows your heart. He knows everything about you. He knew you before you was conceived in your mother's womb. So he knows everything. He knows everything. But continue to trust in him. He's going to make a way out of the wilderness. He's going to make a way out of the wilderness. Just hold on. Change is going to come. Just know that for sure. Until next time, I'll see y'all. Shalom, brothers and sisters, and enjoy the rest of your Shabbat.